Hey everybody, it's Ben. Let's see, hey Ben. Oh, it's Kangaroo. Go Kangaroo. And so forth. Welcome to the stream. I decided to do a tribute stream to a former friend of mine, Alex Scherzer, who passed away on December 4th, a little less than 4 weeks ago. But I just found out about it 3 days ago from a friend. And one of his best friends, if not his best friend, Stuart Rachel's, former U.S. champion, who was in contact with Scherzer all the time, didn't know that he died. He didn't understand why he wasn't returning his phone messages and texts and stuff. So I was the one who told him, which explained why he hadn't heard from Alex in 3 or 4 weeks. But not the way he wanted it to be, of course. And he's been texting me a lot. Stuart has, since his passing. And I'll share some of what he said with you. I'm not sure what the cause of death was. I've seen 3 or 4 things on the internet, and none of them talk about the cause of death. So I don't know. He was 51 years old. Thanks, Such Sweet Thunder, for the support of the stream and subscription. I have an opinion of what happened, but I haven't spoken to Alex Scherzer in a long time. Last time I had contact with Scherzer was about 6 years ago, because the guy who ended up being my doctor here in Atlanta when I moved to Atlanta, he's not my doctor anymore because he moved moved his practice like 25 miles away. So he was a mile away. And I just happened to get him as a doctor. And it turned out he went to med school with Alex Scherzer and knew him pretty well, which is strange. And I told Alex about it, and he remembered the guy and talked about the kind of food he made and such. And we texted a couple times, or we talked over Facebook, I don't know. That was like 6 years ago. And that's like the last contact I had with Alex, was talking about his, my doctor who used to be his friend. And Stuart Rachel's, who's a friend of mine, was very good friends with Alex Scherzer, and knew a lot more about him than I did recently. I knew him as a kid because I was 2 years older than him, and we played in juniors together and U.S. Opens and World Opens and Chicago Opens and New York Opens. And we were at a couple tournaments in Europe at the same time, coincidentally. So, I've probably seen him, I would say, at 30 tournaments. That would be my guess. And the last time I saw him in person was in Virginia Beach. There was a tournament there. And he had already stopped playing chess. And he just played in that chess tournament because he was driving down to Florida, I think, to move to Florida. And it was almost on the way, so he figured he'll play in a tournament. He tied for first, actually. I had a very bad tournament. We won't talk about my tournament. And I'm guessing that was about 20 years ago, but I'm guessing. It's a pretty good guess. It's about 20 years ago. That's the last time I saw him in person. And he was 51 years old. So that's unfortunate. And so forth. Right now, somebody said that on the internet, when I was looking at his games, somebody said, I got the fellowship instead of Scherzer 1 year, but that's not my recollection. My recollection is he got it the year before me, and then I got it, and then Komsky got it the next year. Of course, should be able to look that up, I'm guessing. Samford chess winners. I assume there's a webpage about that. Okay. Yeah, I was right. My recollection from 30 years ago is correct. Scherzer got it in 92. I got it in 93, and Komsky got it in 94. Now, the reason Komsky didn't get it in 92 or 93 is, he and his dad had a bad relationship with officials. So they didn't give it to him because they didn't like him or they didn't like his dad. Scherzer got it the year before I did. So Benjamin was the first to get it in 87, then DeLugie, then Wolf, Fishbein, Ilya Gurevich, Scherzer, me, then Komsky. And this is 30 years ago. So there's been a lot of winners. Then Josh Waitzkin, Tal Shaked, Boris Kryman, Dina Polito, Greg Shahadi, Michael Molyar, Eugene Perelstein. I could read forever. Hikaru won in 2005. I'll read the ones that are interesting. Crush won in 2008. Ray Robson 2009. Hessen 2010. Lenderman 2011. Timur Garayev 2012, along with Alejandro Ramirez. Shanklin in 2013. Naroditsky 2014. Then Sevian Trof, Wesley So 2016, Jeffrey Shong 2017, etc. Mainly etc. Now, according to this list, Sevian won in 2015 and 2019, which I didn't know about. I didn't know you could win it twice. Also, it says Christopher, you got it twice, but they were back-to-back years. It was for 2 years when I got it. Hans won it this year, along with Carissa Yip and Christopher Yu and Abhi Mishra and Alice Lee. 5 people won. Yeah, when it started, one person won. Now it's given to several people. I guess they got more money. I thought they had no money, honey. But they had money, I guess. And so forth. Kudrin is not a good player. My dad played against him. Though my dad lost, can't be good. Kudrin beat a friend of mine in 20 moves. Only met Scherzer once. He seemed like a good guy. Yeah, agreed. Scherzer was a very unusual kid, an adult. As a kid, he would have laughing fits, which I could usually get him to laugh, and then he wouldn't stop. And he was laughing about nothing. He's just, mentally disturbed. And so forth. It's Karen. And when he was a kid, he played in the World Youth and or Cadet. And that's where he saw Sophia Polgar, and he fell in love with her. They were both 14, 15, 16. And he decided to learn Hungarian like any American schoolboy and then moved to Hungary. And truth hurts. And the trial, which we're going to talk about soon, Judah Polgar testified on his behalf that he was a good guy.
Was it Judith?
It was Judith. I've been talking to Stuart. Stuart sent me a very, very long text about the circumstances behind the arrest and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really long. Like, I've never written anything that long, ever. So if I ever need a lawyer, I want Stuart as my lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah, Ben was going to go over the games, which I thought was fine, but I did, and he agreed with me. I felt like, we had to talk a little bit about Scherzer's past. You can't just ignore the fact that he was arrested.
Yeah, now when Scherzer was 33, 34, I'm close. I'm like a year off at most. He was arrested for attempting to have sex with a 15-year-old girl across state lines. So what that meant was, and I remember this from when it happened, and I actually have something maybe Karen doesn't even know. But, and that's a federal crime. It's not a state crime because some states it's 15, some it's 16, some it's 17, some it's 18. Depends what state you're in. The U.S. has a lot of states. So for a state crime to be committed, they would have to be in the same state. And they were contacting each other over the internet. And he drove from one state, was driving to the state that she lived in with the intention of having sex, which is a federal crime if that person is under, I think, 18, but it might be 17. But either way, it's illegal. And what ended up happening was, and I remember this from when it happened. Karen doesn't know a lot of it, but I know a lot of it.
I don't know most of it.
Right. What's that?
I don't know most of it.
Right. What happened was he was talking to her on the internet, and it was relatively innocent. And she was in jail at the time, she was in youth jail, like whatever that's called, juvenile called, and she had committed crimes in the past, and her mom found printouts of her talking on the internet with Alex, that she had printed them out and had them in her bag, and her mom saw them, and her mom told the police and said, this 30-some-year-old is talking to my daughter on the internet. My daughter's 15, and I don't like that. And at that point, the FBI took over her account and started talking to Alex, pretending they were her. And up until that point, there was no sexual discussion. And in fact, before that, she was complaining about a guy who was hassling her, and Alex told her to go to the police. But then when FBI came along, the FBI said, as her, hey, you should come down here and we can have sex. And then eventually he did do that. And when he got there, the FBI arrested him. There was a court case in Alabama. I assume it was federal court. And the jury ruled 12-0 that he was innocent, even though it's like a conservative Southern, that's not the kind of thing they like in Alabama, is, Northerners coming down to sleep with their daughters. And they ruled 12-0 in Alex's favor, not guilty, because 100% of anything that was illegal was the FBI. They had transcripts of when she was talking to him, and it was sort of banal. But they decided they would entrap him, and it wasn't even like 11-1 or 10-2. It was 12-0 that they had entrapped him. And one thing Karen might not know is the night before the verdict, I called Alex, and I didn't have his phone number, but I guess Stewart, I don't know who it was, told me what hotel he was staying at. I called the hotel and asked for his room, and he answered. And I said, what do you think? And he said, I'm prepared to go to jail. I might have to go to jail. And then if that happens, that's what happens. And that was the night before the verdict. He said, I hope I don't, but I'm ready if that's what happens. That's what you get, is you go to jail. And then he was found not guilty and didn't go to jail. Unfortunately, his profession, which was a doctor, it's not good to be on trial for trying to have sex with a minor. That's bad. So every time he would go to like a new place to get a job, eventually somebody would find out, hey, look at this court case, and the administration would fire him because they didn't want him on the staff. This happened to him 3 or 4 times. Eventually he started his own practice, and he didn't fire himself, although he thought about it.
But, okay. And I'm glad to get all these details. But, he did want to go and have sex with the 15-year-old and did go down wherever he
That's
went.
correct.
He's a creeper. Was a creeper.
Marriott today subscribed. He's not a creeper, although he is Italian, so I don't know.
Creeper. But
now, he also had some affliction, which I didn't know about, but goddamn do I believe it. I'm going to tell you what it is.
Yay, thank you, Welch's Grape Juice and Marriott today. How's it going?
I got to tell you what he had, because Stuart
Italy.
told me. Also, he thought when he was in the Philippines that he would be murdered by Duarte's people. Interesting. Laughing fit.
Yeah, he didn't actually commit the crime, but yeah, well, as a bare minimum, a creeper. But we're gonna look at his games anyway. I'm
Here it
fine
is.
with looking at the games.
He had McArdle's disease.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. I looked it up, and it says it's some muscle thing.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, and he had an unusual way of presenting himself and speaking. He would say a lot, and it was weird. But I just thought, okay, people are weird. But he had something. And Stuart said he had McArdle's disease, and I was like, okay, that sounds like what he had. And there was testimony, including by Judah Polgar, saying he was a great guy, even though he learned Hungarian and moved to Hungary as a kid to try to get with Sophia. So, and they're the same age, but still weird.
More creepiness.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't think that's sweet?
A little bit stalkerish.
Mm-hmm. But then the FBI is also very creepy. Yeah, the jury ruled that the FBI did it all, that she never said anything to him and vice versa. So A true gentleman. That's right. You got to learn Hungarian. No, the mom thought it was weird. She talked to me about it once. Isn't it weird for him to learn Hungarian and move to Hungary? And I said, yeah, he's okay. Imagine someone learns English just for Ben. That's what Karen did. Because Karen used to speak with a really thick accent, and she got rid of it just to be with me,
Yeah.
etc. Anyway, it doesn't really excuse his behavior, but from the evidence, he didn't do anything illegal. As far as it turned out, it started with them, but it could have led to that if the FBI hadn't gotten involved. Nobody knows what would have happened. They could have been married now for all we know, but yeah, very suspicious. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and usually in that kind of a case, when somebody's arrested for a crime of that manner, they're like, hey, we just found out that this is the 5th time you've done that, and these other 4 women are going to testify against you now, or they won't, but maybe they will. But nothing had ever happened with him, which I guess was good for him for court, was they didn't have anything else that he did with anybody. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't like continuing going from woman to woman like you see on the TV shows.
You want a serial creeper that we know of.
What happened? This all happened 20, 25 years ago. I don't know. Let's
Anyway.
see, 51. So it's like 18 years ago this happened.
Well, let's look at his game. Let's look at the creepers.
Anyway, Alex, as a kid, would get into laughing fits, which I could usually get him into. And he would always make these grand pronouncements like, I've refuted this opening and this opening wins, and we'd all laugh at him. We were on the floor laughing. He would always, when he was like 16, he's like, this opening wins by force, the English, and we just start laughing. It was just funny.
That's funny, Sergeant Major Dilemma. I must confess I missed who this person is. Are we talking about Bill Clinton?
We're talking about Alex Scherzer. That's the title of the stream. He died on December 4th at the age of 51. Mm-hmm. You can't hear anything? I mean, turn your sound up. I don't know. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Oh, he says, sorry, anytime I ask a question, a commercial breaks out.
Yeah, you have to become a subscriber to the stream like any normal person would do.
Yeah, because I admit it's pretty oppressive.
The FBI is going to go to your house for stealing watching this stream instead of paying for it.
Those ads, yeah, it's sure laughable. I get a sub. We're saying
I can't tell him to get a sub because he can't hear because of the commercials. It's a catch-22, I tells you. He's like, I can't hear it. I'm telling him how to hear it, and he can't hear it. So
I mean, we got to pay some bills here.
Yeah. Now I'm back. I can hear. Become a sub and you'll never see ads again. Even though you can't afford. Oh, thanks,
Thank
Thaddeus.
you, Thaddeus.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
What Karen doesn't know, because she barely. In fact, I would guess if Karen never met me, I'm guessing that she never heard of Alex Scherzer.
That's correct.
Yeah. Now, Alex Scherzer beat a lot of really strong GMs, considering Karen never heard of him, including Vishy Anand. He played Anand several times, and there was a lot of games he didn't lose. I couldn't find a game he lost to Anand. I found games he won and drew. But Scherzer had the opposite takes when he was white and black. When he was white, he checkmated you. He played for checkmate on move 1, and then by move 20, you were checkmated. With black, he was the first grandmaster that seriously studied the Berlin. And the first grandmaster to play the Berlin every game was Arthur Bisguyer. If you look at Bisguyer's games from the 50s and 60s, they're all Berlins. They're all Berlin endgames, and Bisguyer did well. Then after Bisguyer was Scherzer, except Scherzer wasn't kidding around. Scherzer would study the Berlin for hours every day to play black in a Berlin and trade queens and try to win those endgames. Now, when Bisguyer played the Berlin, he was trying to draw. When Scherzer played the Berlin, he was trying to win. And then the Berlin became very popular and famous after Kramnik used it successfully to win his match against Kasparov. But that was way after Bisguyer and a little bit after Scherzer. But since those grandmasters are not top 10, top 20 in the world, although maybe at his absolute peak, Bisguyer was 20th in the world. Maybe. He wasn't, but maybe. Okay, Scherzer was, top 20 in the U.S. the Kramnik made it famous by drawing Kasparov every game with it. And now people are still playing the Berlin because of the Kasparov-Kramnik match. If I said Kasparov made it famous, I meant to say Kramnik. And so forth. Right, if you sub to a Twitch channel, you don't see commercials. So somehow we have to pay the bills. If you sub, that helps me pay the bills. If you don't sub, then you watch commercials, which helps me pay the bills. But subbing is better because we want to grow a community. Also, then your money goes in my pocket. And then Jeff Bezos gets a little bit richer. Just a little. But all you guys, it adds up. A little bit richer. Yeah. I've won, drawn, and lost against Scherzer. I've done it all. I'm the everyman. Okay, now when I told Stuart Rachels I was going to do a thing with Scherzer, he suggested 2 games, this game and another game, which I'll tell you when I get to it. And I had a game in mind I wanted to show, and I found it. So, and then I found some other games also, including one of mine. Okay, now Kudrin, when he plays the black pieces, plays like Scherzer does with the white pieces. Kudrin plays like a lunatic. He played the Benoni, then he played the Grunfeld, and he always played the Dragon. Okay, and Kudrin's older than me, if you can believe that. Somebody's older than me. So Kudrin, in the 1980s and 90s, was playing in the U.S. Championship almost every year. And not doing very well, because he was about the 15th best player in the U.S., and so he would finish like 11th or 10th out of, 16, 14, So he wasn't winning the U.S. Championship, but he was getting invited. And he was a strong grandmaster. He's played on an Olympic team and such. And he always played the Dragon, and Scherzer always checkmated the Dragon. So when Scherzer was white, you could go to your local bookie and bet the game was going to be a Dragon. Okay, and you'd have to give big odds. But if you bet $1,000, you would win 0. That's how likely it was. That's stealing from Futurama. Okay. So it was a Dragon, obviously. Scherzer's white. And this is the Dragon. Now, Scherzer always played the Yugoslav attack, castle queenside, and checkmated his opponent. We're going to show more than one example of that in this stream. And Scherzer didn't play boring with white. With black, he might have some boring Berlins. At some point in Scherzer's life, I think it started in 1992 when he got the Sanford Fellowship, is he was told by one of his coaches, never offer a draw and never accept a draw, and he started doing that. Before that, he had some draws. But when he was older and he was trying to get better, there was no draws. So he was winning and losing a lot, and he lost a lot of games as a consequence. Very few draws between like 1993 and his death. Also, no draws the last 10 years of his life because he didn't play in tournaments. He was also a medical doctor, and there's 3 people on earth who I know are grandmasters and medical doctors. There could be more, but there's 3 that I know. Scherzer, R.I.P., and then the guy who just got married 2 years ago in Egypt. What's his name? The Egyptian grandmaster who's 2,700. Somebody hook me up. Thank you, Bassem Amin. Thank you.
And you mean medical doctor.
Right, medical doctor, not like Reuben Fine, fake doctor. Not like, Jill Biden. Okay, so Bassem Amin, 2,700 and a medical doctor and just got married. God damn. Okay, and then the third one is currently married, as far as I know, maybe they're not married, to Sophia Polgar. Now, what are the chances? Listen to this listen to this complicated thing I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
You're 14, 15 years old, an American doofus decides he's in love with you and learns Hungarian, moves to Hungary, and then he becomes a doctor and a grandmaster, and you marry another doctor and a grandmaster, and there aren't any in the world. So she attracts men who are doctors and grandmasters. That to be both. That's who's attracted to Sophia Polgar. Okay, and his name, now don't get confused, is Yona Koshishvili. And you're going to be confused because you're going to think of Kashishvili, whose first name is Georgi, and they spell their last names differently. Koshishvili isn't spelled the same as Kashishvili. Yona Koshishvili is an Israeli grandmaster and a medical doctor. You may have noticed you've never heard of him because he doesn't play in tournaments anymore because he does doctor stuff. Sort of like what Scherzer did. Bassem Amin does both. He plays chess and he's a doctor. He has a practice and he plays chess. The other ones stop playing chess. And they're like, man, doctor money's better than chess money. Yona Koshishvili was probably like 2590 FIDE. And Scherzer was probably 2560 FIDE at his peak. So forth. That's right. Ace Deuce with the Simpsons reference. Very good. Now, there could be other people on Earth who are medical doctors and grandmasters. I just don't know who they are. There could be. Those are the three that I knew. Those three. Okay. So Scherzer plays aggressive. Never play F3. Queen D2. And he never played castles. He always played bishop C4. Bishop C4 in the 70s and 80s was the main move. And then probably castles queenside overtook it like later. And they played one of the main lines. H4, H5, then castles. Okay, now I don't play the dragon with white or black. And I know this position because it's such a common position, this one. And in 1985, when this game was played, this was the latest theory. Of course, there's more theory now that either goes beyond this or they play something else. I think a lot of times white plays king b1 earlier. A lot of players don't play bishop c4 anymore. A lot of players with black don't play this line anymore. So, okay. So g4. And Alex was willing to sacrifice at all times and play the most aggressive move, although here he's just in his preparation. This is just theory. And then f4. If you play f4 right away in this position, then you're giving the g4 square away. My knight has g4, my knight has c4, and so forth. So by playing g4 first, you take away the g4 square for the knight, and you make this pawn move so you can play h5 later. Okay, knight c4 is forced, takes, e5. And I'm sure this is still preparation from Alex. And probably Kudrin. Kudrin only played the dragon. So I'm not sure like who got out of prep first. I don't know. Okay, now the engine, today's engine, Stockfish 15 on chess.com, that's the engine they have. They like black a lot here. It says black's better with knight h5 or knight h7. Okay, he played knight h7. It likes black. Queen d3. And now Kudrin followed my rule, but he did the wrong one. He had too many exchange sacrifices, so he played the wrong one. We're going to ask Karen what she thinks. Do you think black should sack this exchange on d4 or on c3? I got 2 exchange sacks, one for each of you.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can guess.
I
Always
don't know.
guess.
I don't want to just guess.
Aw.
If I don't know.
Okay, so I think the reason he played the wrong one, I think the right one is because this knight is better than this knight. This knight can go to d5 and e4. And especially d5, because you can see knight e7. Mm-hmm. This knight can't go anywhere.
Okay.
So I think he should take this.
I see.
Okay, and also, when you sack here and the queen takes, the queen's defending e5. But here, after takes, e5 is not as defended. So the engine prefers black after rook takes c3. He took on d4.
Hey, can you scoot over like 1/4 inch? Well, now you're up. Don't get off the screen. It's just it was making a noise.
That was, I think, this hitting 4.
No.
Okay. Now queen takes d4. Now, here, the arbiter stopped the game because it was too exciting. You know who the arbiter was?
No.
Zoidberg.
Oh.
Yeah. Stop, it's too exciting. Okay, he played bishop c6, attacking the rook on h1. knight d5, threatening e7. God damn, threatening e7. Never play f6. Now you guys laugh when I say never play f6. Then you play f6. Then you lose. Then you laugh more. Smart. Good job. Okay. The engine says boo to f6. You never want to move pawns in front of your king. That's a fatal weakness of the king. And the engine says after f6, everything wins for white. Because black's king is too exposed. White's king's pretty safe. He played queen c4. That's the engine move. Threatening double, triple, quadruple check. King h8, also a bad move. h5. See how he's coming to get him? Mm-hmm. Now he's threatening hg. Okay? And if we want to see this game live, and you want to see hg, then we need to go into a time machine. Did you get that?
Yeah, I got it.
Yay!
I've heard it about 100 times.
But not in that way.
But I finally got it. I never got it until today.
Okay. By the way, queen c4 was the engine move, and h5 is the engine move.
Yeah.
Now, if Hans played those moves, they would say he's cheating because this is a super complicated position. But in 1985, if you played the engine move, that means your move was no good. 85 engine's no good. 85 engine's like 2250. And that's like a mainframe. You couldn't put it in your pocket. They didn't have the engines on the phones then. Terrible. What a terrible time to be alive. Okay. So he took, rook takes. God damn. He's getting them 6 ways from Sunday. Bishop e8 attacking the rook. Now, what should white do based on my teachings?
I would just take the knight with the rook.
Always sack the exchange.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got this other rook.
Okay, now you can do the song about the sweet loving woman, and you can do the song about the knife. But there's only one thing you can do here. You do the walk of life. Yeah, you do the walk of life. Da-da-da-da-da. Dire Straits. Okay, so if you play king g8, knight e7, and or knight f6 mate, and then bishop h6 is no good, but it actually lasts longer than king g6. That's no good. So he plays king g6, and once again he plays the mate move, f5. If you take the bishop, white has mate in 1. Let's see if Karen can find it.
Queen f4.
Queen f4. And black has the 2 bishops, but white has the what else? So he had to take with the king. Okay, then knight e3 check. Okay, now, if you take with the bishop, then that's mate. So he didn't do that. He played king g6. Queen takes g4. These are all the engine moves. Every move white makes is the engine move. Like every move. So you don't want to play the dragon against Scherzer because, terrible. Okay.
Is the dragon played much anymore?
Not too much. King f7, that's the engine move. e6, and then bishop h6. God damn. I said god damn. And then he resigned here. Notice, black got no attack against white's king, and we were always just staring over here. When I castle opposite sides in any opening, middle game, that's what I'm looking for. Everybody's looking at what I'm doing and not what they're doing. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, you have to realize, Kudrin only played the dragon. This was the only opening he played. So he should play black pretty well.
How embarrassing.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. This is his bread and butter,
right.
But it wasn't vegan. You got in trouble there. Man, Scherzer played great that game. I wonder if I can do a thing, like analyze somehow. I guess not. It can't be done. Let's see. What does this say? Manage. It says that I'm banned from chess.com. What? All right.
Is this a cheater?
Is this a cheater?
What?
This was in 1985. So if he was cheating, he'd play worse. Okay, next game is against Helgi Olafsson. Now, Helgi Olafsson Unless it's Arnis, I think it's Olvason. He's also a patent lawyer in Iceland. And also, he's an alcoholic. Now, he may have stopped drinking, okay? But, who stops drinking when they live in Iceland? Nobody, that's who. And Olafsson, at one New York Open, was dribbling on the board. Exactly. What?
What was that noise?
Yeah, Blaze of Glory just got a diamond membership.
Oh.
That's what that was.
Nice.
Those things happen once a year.
Yeah, I just forgot them.
Okay, now Helgi Olafsson was one of the top 5 players in Iceland for 25 years. And now he's older than me, so now he's not. And this was played at the World Open in 1991, when Olafsson was at the peak of his powers. Unfortunately, he played the Sicilian. Okay, he played the Najdorf. Now, the last game, you thought Scherzer played aggressively, and Scherzer sacked material, and Scherzer this, and Jebediah that, and Ezekiel this. No, that was the appetizer. This is the main course. Now, Karen will explain to the crowd what A6 is called. What's this opening?
What ace? Oh, Najdorf?
The Najdorf, right.
I used to play that.
Right. Okay, so Bishop E3, A4. He played the positional way, except for one thing. So Bishop E2, A4 is the positional treatment. Okay, but Alex isn't going to play positionally. F4. Put it in H. Okay, then he played Queen E1 and Queen G3. And you'll see this position today in some Grandmaster games. Thanks, Hasta Mahogi. Okay, always play Bishop F8. Thanks, the worst in chess. You're the best. Rook D1. Rook C8, too passive. Retreats his knight to F3 so he can play E5 and stop black from trading. Okay, so he gives up his pawn because bishop takes F6 as a threat. So we can't allow that. So he plays knight E8. Now what's funny is he should play bishop E7, but nobody in their right mind who's a human can play bishop F8 then bishop E7. Then he looks like an idiot. Mm-hmm. And white's better after bishop E7, but after knight E8, black's just losing. And he ignores this pawn because he sees, too passive. So he plays knight G5, H6, put it in H, kicking the knight away. Okay, and he says, boy, more pieces I can sacrifice. So he plays bishop here, attacking the F pawn, sacrificing his knight. And the guy says, thank you. And he takes back, opening the F file.
Yeah.
So he's threatening to win immediately. Bishop F7, Queen H, anything mate. So the logical move is G6 because I don't see another move.
Right.
Okay. And then Alex says, I'll take that. And then he plays rook takes F8 because he hasn't sacrificed since the last move. Then check. And then here. Okay. So white's down a rook and a knight, but he's threatening queen F8 check and then mate. Rook F7's mate, Queen H6 is going to be mate. And if you play Knight G7, so your rook defends F8, but then Queen F7 check and Queen takes Knight mate. And if you play, your Knight can't go anywhere else. So the only way to stop this mate, the only way, is Knight F6. That's what he played.
Okay.
Queen takes. Threatening mate, 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 mate. Okay, the only way to stop mate in 1 is E5. There is no other way to stop mate in 1. Then check. And then he resigned. If he plays here, then rook F7. Now, that guy was a very strong grandmaster, Helgi Olafsson. It just doesn't look like it. It looks like Kasparov doofus.
That's a pretty big beatdown.
Right. He got the beat down of the century because that's how Alex played. He played to beat you down. He sacrificed. He played attacking chess. Right. And he no draws. Right. He calculated well. He knew a lot of theory. he played very aggressive, and he had confidence. And that's all you need. Now, I'm not showing you the games he lost because those might not look good. But the games he won, those look good. God damn, that looks good.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Right, that was just like the beatdown of the century. And if you played that game over, you would just say, okay, black's not very good. But for sure, Helgi Olafsson's career in chess was better than Alex Scherzer's. Helgi Olafsson was good. He was playing in Olympiads, 2,600 FIDE. He drank more than Scherzer. He collapsed at the board more than Scherzer did. Yeah. Etc. We're not sure what the cause of death was. Maybe he played too good and he couldn't take it.
Would you rather play the Sicilian against Scherzer or Emery Tate? Is the question.
I guess Tate. I've played the Sicilian against Tate and beaten him. So, okay. Now, you guys are like, I never heard of those players. I don't know who Kudrin is. I live in Europe. I don't know who Helgi Olafsson is. I'm 30 years old. Okay. Now it doesn't matter where you live or how old you are. You heard of Bent Larsen. Okay. R.I.P. And this was played in 1988. Now, Bent Larsen was old in 88, but he was alive. Okay. And you'd think Alex Scherzer, unknown American, probably an IM at this point, against Bent Larsen, one of the greatest players of all time. Alex can't just checkmate him out of nothing. That's why thinking isn't your strong suit.
Do we know Islandification? Islandification said you played.
He said he's from Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, now, even Karen's heard of Bent Larsen, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
God.
Yeah. Okay, now, don't blink, because this game's over immediately.
Okay.
All right, because he didn't know he was playing Alex Scherzer, so he played the dragon. He played the accelerated dragon, G6, and Alex made it a dragon. And Larsen used to play the dragon and sort of started playing the accelerated dragon, so he didn't mind playing a regular dragon, right, D6. And you don't have to play D6 here if you don't want to play a regular dragon. There's other moves. But he played D6, and then after F3, this is just a regular Sicilian dragon. All right, now did you blink? The game's almost over. Now, the game just started. This is theory. We've already seen this position in this lecture. There's 100 billion grandmaster games. Okay, knight D7. Now, Larsen didn't understand who he was playing. And when you're an old man, which Larsen was, he's probably in his 50s, if anybody's that old, and you're playing a young kid, which Alex was in 88. So Alex was 17 or 16. He was 16 or 17 years old. You don't play black and a dragon. You don't do that. And Larsen's like, I'm Larsen. Rawr. So he thought he could do what he wanted. And he could do what he wanted, and then he lost like he wanted. Now, nobody plays knight d7 to c5, so this is probably Larsen's secret illegal analysis. But that doesn't work against Scherzer, because Scherzer just plays for mate. And the knight on f6 does a good job for black in not getting mated. It defends h7, it defends h5, defends g4. So now white can go crazy on the king side. h4, recommended by Hart.
I get it.
But did they get it?
I don't know.
No, they get nothing.
Go crazy on you.
See, he didn't get it.
It's a song.
Mm-hmm.
By Hart.
Okay. h5, queen d2, knight c5, castles.
It's all right.
The game's almost over and Karen's not looking.
We'll get through it, Asta.
Queen a5. Always play king b1. That stops queen a1 check. Now, here's what, okay, so at some point, white wants to play knight d5 when it works. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work here because of queen a1 checkmate. It doesn't work in other positions because queen takes queen is check. So when you play king b1, Now black has to watch out for knight here. Now, knight here doesn't work right now because this pawn's defended by the knight.
Right.
That will explain the rest of the game to you. I've already explained the rest of the game. Okay, so he played bishop d7, which is a mistake. g4. And again, you can see Scherzer has an attack, and Larson is just playing because he's Bent Larson. He's like, I'm Bent Larson, so I'm going to win because you're nobody. Okay, he took on g4, terrible. h5. gh5 is terrible. Notice Larson's queen defends his pawn. Mm-hmm. So he thought, what's the problem? Okay, now white played a very nice combination, which is easier to understand when you remember what I told you 2 minutes ago, which was white wants to play knight d5 and knight takes e7, but the knight is defending e7. So Scherzer played knight takes knight. Then you have to take back on c6, doesn't matter which way, and then knight d5. Now we're going to go to Zwischenzug Central. It doesn't matter if you speak German or not. If you play queen takes d2, which he did not play, I play Zwischenzug 1, then irrespective and regardless of where your king goes, I play rook takes h5, another Zwischenzug. Then you have to go here, and then I can do anything and win. The simplest is just to take back because you can't defend your bishop. And you're going to be down a piece and getting mated. That's the simplest. Everything else wins your bishop takes. Okay. So after knight d5, he played queen d8 because his queen's hanging, and knight takes here is winning. So he has to play queen d8. Then bishop h6, threatening queen g5. Okay. Queen g5 completely winning.
Right.
So you got to stop that. So he played f6. That's the engine move, stopping queen g5. Rook takes h5, put it in h. And now here, black played a human move because he's a human. The engine says don't take that knight, but the thing is, if you don't take the knight, you're getting mated and you're not at material. Like white has a mating attack, black obviously has no attack, and white's mating you. So you might as well be up a piece. That's probably what Larson thought. Like, if I don't take that knight, I'm getting mated for nothing. So he took the knight. Bishop takes. You have to take the bishop. But he played king f7, mouse slip. Okay, now the engine plays like random legal move and resigns. But let's play a human move. King takes g7. Check. Check. If you play king here, this is mate. And if you play king e8, then this is mate. And as some people would point out, also wins the queen. But it's mate, so he can't win the queen. So he played king f7 running away. Always play bishop f8. Queen f8. Queen d5 check. And now the engine says plus 12 for white. So white's up in exchange. I'm mating him, so he resigned. Now that game, black got beat really badly. Black got no attack and looked like he was just an easy opponent. But Larson played board 1 ahead of Fischer. So Larson was pretty good. And this wasn't like when Larson was 80. This was in 88. In 1970 and 71, Larson thought he was better than Fischer. He was wrong, but, they put him on board 1 ahead of Fischer in the rest of the world match. So, he got beat really badly because you can't underestimate teenagers when it's a dragon. They're good at tactics, knows a lot of theory, knows how to punish him, and he punished him, etc. And I remember that game because I was there. I remember he went to play Larson and just beat him like immediately. I was like, man, he beat Larson like in 5 moves.
What year did you say it was?
88.
88?
Yeah. Okay, now Julio Caplan is from Puerto Rico, and he's famous because he was world junior champion in the 60s. He's also famous because he's one of the few non-GMs to play in San Antonio 72, which had Karpov, Petrosian, Portish, and those were the weak players. It was a tough tournament. Walter Brown, etc., mainly etc. And Julio Capon played in that tournament. And this was a very funny game because Alex promoted his king. I always tell you to activate your king in the end game. If I ever gave chess lessons again, I would use this game. So obviously it's a sharp Sicilian. That's how Scherzer likes it. Sharp and Sicilian-y. G4 is named after your favorite Estonian grandmaster. And we have a note here with his picture on it. It's right behind us.
Okay, but just tell me who.
You don't know who?
No.
He's the only one you've heard of.
Estonian.
Yeah, we have money with his picture on it.
Okay, that's not going to
Paul
help.
Keres.
Oh, I do remember the money.
Yeah, that's called the Keres attack.
Yeah.
Okay, G4. Rawr.
I remember that money.
Okay, and then G5, etc. Okay. And, you see how Scherzer's playing. He's playing like Scherzer, right? You can tell. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, now what's funny is Kaplan neutralizes White's attack, and Scherzer just keeps pushing all of his pawns. He literally didn't care. Figuratively he did, but not literally. So Kaplan's trading pieces, always play king b1, h5, h6, threatening checkmate. Knight d5, it's the same trick as the Larson
I know,
game.
I was
So
thinking
it's queen d8 again. And then he's like, 2 bishops, what else? Now, he made a positional concession to get material. The engine agrees. And in this position, the engine plays f3, but Scherzer never played f3 because he knew after he died I would lecture on his games. So he played bishop g2 defending his pawn because this pawn's indefensible, but this pawn can be defended. Knight c5. Okay, now in this position, this is why f3 was better. Then I could just take on d6. Now when I take on d6, I lose my e4 pawn. So it's not as good. Okay, now this position is better for white, and it's very easy to say why. I can explain it very simply. I could say white has the only open file, but I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is both sides have pawn majorities, and white's better on both sides of the board. White's pawn majority can eventually become a queen, and black's pawn majority is stuck. Black, because the en passant rule. Black's pawns can't move. Black's king is less safe. He can get mated on the back rank. So black's much worse here. The engine says +1 for white.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he attacked the c pawn, and Scherzer saw it. Got rid of the e5 pawn.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and now white advances his majority, whereas black cannot. Move it on up to the queen's side. On up. Finally gonna make him resign.
I think Silman calls it the deep freeze.
Right, now rook here is going to be mate. So you have to play bishop d7 because you can't allow rook d8 check. Mm-hmm. Then the king moves up. That's the zoogiest wang I've ever seen. That's what she said. The engine announces mate. So if you play a3, the only move you can play that doesn't lose material, I move my rook back. Doesn't matter where. And you can't move. If you move your bishop, rook d8 check. If you move your king, rook takes bishop. If you move your rook, I take it. And that's it. You can't move anything else. So after king b7, he resigned. But I like the way Scherzer pushed all his kingside pawns. Then he couldn't push them anymore, so he pushed his c pawn. He's like, what else can I do?
That's pretty cool.
That was a devastating strategical victory. That was in 1988 also at the World Open. Go, Alex.
All these games are pretty cool. I have
Okay,
to
now this
say.
game specifically, Stuart Rachel's told me to show you. He said, you got to show the first game I showed you. I already forgot who it was. With Kudrin. And then he said, oh, this game too. And then I found the game. So thanks, Sven Finegold.
Yay.
You knew him back in the day. That's right. Now, this game is so complicated, Karen could just burst out in tears any second. And if you say you don't understand what's going on, that makes two of us.
Yeah.
I looked at the game and I'm like, what's going on? I don't understand what's going on this game. All I know is Scherzer sacked all of his pieces, then his opponent resigned. That's all I know for sure. I can guarantee you that.
Hey, now let me just before we get
Enzian Hero.
rolling.
Uh-huh.
At 5:30, I'm gonna go upstairs just to start the rice.
Okay.
It takes
Then you'll
30
come
minutes.
back?
Yeah.
All right.
It'll just be.
We'll take a little break.
3
Yeah.
minutes. I'm just
All right.
letting you know they're about it. So hopefully I won't.
Now I have a funny story about Margier Pedersen because let's face it, who doesn't?
Who?
His opponent.
Oh.
Okay. So what country is
I
he
said
from?
Margaret.
What country is he from?
I don't know.
It's sort of given away in the name. So the first name is weird. Okay, but the second name ends in son. S-O-N.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you see that, there's one country you're going to name like that, son.
I don't know.
Iceland.
Oh, Iceland.
If you're from Iceland, your name ends in son.
Oh.
And if you're a woman, guess what your name ends in? I'm not kidding. This isn't a joke. Daughter. Daughter.
Oh, yeah, I remember
D-O-T-T-I-R.
that. I
Yeah.
remember that.
So Pedersen doesn't mean he's from Iceland, but that's a good guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Margier, that makes it a better guess because what the fuck kind of name is that? Okay, so he's from Iceland. Now I have a funny story about him. I played him in '88 at the World Chess Festival in Canada, and draw. Then I played him again in Winnipeg, Manitoba, in the Canadian Open. And he told me, he was like, where are you from in Canada? And I said, I'm American. He says, you're American? I thought you were Canadian. And I said, why'd you think I was Canadian? He says, every time I play you, it's in Canada. Now, here's what's funny about that. The only two tournaments I played in that were international tournaments in Canada were those two. One was in '88, one was like in '94. And I played him in both of them. So he thought I was Canadian, eh?
Hey, so this is what I thought too, idiot chess. Sweden and Norway also can end in sun. Because I almost said Sweden.
Right, you could have said any country from the Scandinavian countries, the
Yeah.
Nordic countries. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you're, if you're Icelandic, I said if you're Icelandic and you're a man, your name ends in son.
Right.
So I mean, it could be other countries, but if you're Icelandic, it's a guarantee void in Tennessee. Okay, so it was a dragon Sicilian. Don't be scared. It's gonna get scary soon. You're gonna be like, this isn't chess, and I hate you, and you know I want a divorce because it's too complicated. That's what you're gonna say. You get ready to sell that. Okay, so it's the same deviled egg. Okay, we haven't seen knight takes d4 yet. b5, a5. I've actually played this with black. Knight d5 is one move. Okay, so e6. Then he attacks the queen. So the queen has to move. You can't go to c8 because knight e7 check wins the queen. If you go to e8, then knight c7 forks the queen and rook. So he went to b8. Then bishop c7. The engine likes black here. That's because the engine's confused. Knight e7 check. Okay, so white won a pawn. Looks good, but a4. Now, Pedersen was also a great theoretician in dragons and accelerated dragons. So now the engine says that black's winning because the bishop on b3 is trapped. But that's only a piece. Alex likes sacking pieces. Okay, so time to attack. h5, recommended by the engine. Here there's only one good move according to the engine, and he played it. G takes h5. Okay, then e5. And the engine says black is winning. And he made a very bad move here. The best move for black, which is very hard to make, is knight g8. Then this engine says black is winning. Knight g8. But he played knight e8, and now it says white's completely winning, the game's over. Doesn't seem like a big difference, but the whole game's over now. Okay, so he castled queenside, which is correct. Then he took on d6. If he takes the bishop, which anybody would do, the engine announces mate. Rook takes, threatening rook h7 check and rook h1 with mate. And the engine says this is just mate. Like you can't get out of mate. So he played knight takes d6. Now, there's only one good move here for white. And again, this is before engines. There's no cheating going on. This is why Alex told me to show you this game. Or, no, Alex didn't. Maybe he did from beyond. Stuart did. What would you play with white?
Well, I'm sure mine's wrong. Because, just...
Don't be sure yours is wrong. Be sure it's right.
Knight, but,
close.
Let me see.
If you didn't take the knight, what would you do? Oh, give me the knight.
That's what I'm looking at.
By the way, if you take the knight, you're completely lost. This is a race. Who's checkmating whom?
I gotta just go ahead and take the pawn on h5.
Yep, that's the
So
only
you
move.
can get up to the other pawn.
That's plus 11.
Yeah.
Now we're threatening rook h7 and then rook h1 mate.
Right.
Okay, so he played knight f5. Now, if you take on h7, rook h1, I can go to h6 with my... I got 3 pieces defending h6. So he takes the whatever that was. Takes. Rook here. Man, he's coming to get him. Okay, if you take this... Okay, I said if. Takes, check, mate. So he played king g8. That's the best move. Now I'm threatening that same mate I just showed you. Rook takes bishop. Queen g5 mate. So black played the best move here. It's the engine move. No matter how many guesses I give you, you won't get it. I could give you infinite guesses, and you still won't get it. What you need to do to solve this puzzle of what's the best move is think of moves you would never, ever, 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 ever play. And when you find the least likely, that's the answer. The least likely move you would play with black. That's the answer.
Go ahead.
No, you tell me the move you would never play.
No, just go ahead.
It's funny. It's funny, though. Yeah. It's the engine move. Oh, he didn't play. F4 wasn't even the answer. The answer was queen g1 check.
All that build-up.
Queen g1 check, which he played later.
Oh.
Yeah, he played that later. Now he played queen g1 check.
Oh, that's the one you...
That's the best move.
Oh.
Yeah. Good move. Yeah, now he's still getting mated, even though he gave his queen away. He's still getting mated in down material. Bishop h6. Rook h1. God damn. I said god damn. Now here, the engine plays king b1 or king d1 just to get off this thing. But Scherzer likes to play really tactically. Okay, so he played the most tactical move on the board, even though he's like completely winning. So there's no reason to do it. You can just play any move and win. Like king b1's a safe move because you don't, But he said, what's the most tactical, crazy move? And he played that one. Bishop g6. Confusing the audience. Okay, so if he takes with the king, then I could play queen takes check and queen here check, or I could mate you. So he takes with the rook. You can't take the rook because you'd be in check.
Yeah.
So he takes the bishop first, and then takes. And then black said, where'd all my pieces go? So he resigned. And again, these players that lose these games that I'm finding, they look really bad. Because it's Sicilian Dragon, and one side's playing well and one side's not. So when that happens, one side looks bad. That's the way the Sicilian Dragon goes. When you get checkmated in a Sicilian Dragon, it didn't look good. It looked like, God damn, you got crushed.
So what was the best move, though, instead of the bishop check? Or was that the best move?
Oh, every move wins.
I know.
No, that's for a human, taking all pieces off the board is fine.
Right.
King b1, king d1, just to get out of this pin. No, I mean this is good because you trade everything, and then the guy resigns. So but Engine wouldn't do that because it goes from like plus 12 to plus 10, so it doesn't it doesn't lose any
Let's see.
But I like bishop g6 because it just gets rid of all the pieces. Then black resigns, so it's a good human move. But Scherzer's always looking for the crazy move. This move has the most pieces pinned and hanging, so I like that. Yeah, King B1's the best move because always play King B1. Yay. All done. Okay, now you guys are like, I've never heard of these people, and Scherzer sucks, and you suck, and your channel sucks, and my New Year's resolution is to never watch your channel again. All right, I'll give you the big boys. Scherzer Anand. This was played in Philadelphia at the World Open in '87. If I was a betting man, I'm not saying I am a betting man, I would say Vishy Anand was sleeping on our floor in the hotel room with 7 other people. It was either 86 or 87. Yeah, Anand knows. He remembers these things. Okay, Scherzer's white. And they played a Rui Lopez. And Alex played his, some poison he has. He played the exchange variation. This position occurred in a game from Montreal 1979 between Portish and Tall. And Tall won with black in like 18 moves.
Yay, thank you, Finegold.
Somebody can find that game and paste it. Go Finegold. Okay, so Rook D3, stopping the double of the pawns. Yeah, Anand wasn't a good endgame player when he was younger. So this was good 2 bishops against 2 knights. What else? Yeah, the problem is if you mess up white's pawns, my knight has really good F5 square. So he tried to keep his bishop on the board to stop that. 2 bishops. But he liked the F5 square. The engine likes black here, by the way. And it takes. Okay, now in this position, what would Bobby Fischer do with black? Also, it's the engine move. Engine approved.
I don't know.
What's the biggest blunder Fischer ever made? It's famous. It's not really that bad of a move, but it's famous.
I don't know.
In game 1 against Boris Spassky in their match, he played bishop takes h2 and trapped his bishop. Famous game. So that's what Anand did. Bam! By the way, the engine likes that move. It says good move. Okay, so b3, trapping the bishop, supposedly. And the engine still likes black here. The engine still likes black. So in this position, it doesn't like what Vishy did. It wants Vishy to play b5 here. And then keep pushing his pawns and get his bishop out and get a passed pawn. It says black's winning after b5. But he played king b8, always play king b8. Still likes his position. Then a4 is okay, getting his bishop out. Yeah, and this is still good for black, it says. Okay, and then in this position, Vishy made a very bad move. See how his pawn's attacked?
Yeah.
He should play h5. Put it in h. But he traded.
Yay, thank you, Finegold.
And now he's worse. And you guys have been on my streams before when I tell you, move your king up in the endgame. Okay? Well, in this position, white has a clear path to moving his king up and doing something. It's not clear what black can do. Even if I cheated and went here, like, so what? But if I cheat and take this pawn, then, it's over. So that was a very bad trade for him. Then he checks the king up the board. One of these guys became world champion. I don't know which one. Very bad move, rook f1 check. Anand wasn't known as a good endgame player. Now, excellent move by Scherzer. Really good move. A weaker player would play king g3 or king h3, otherwise you lose a pawn. And Scherzer's like, I don't care about that. I care about making a queen. That's an excellent move. And then he wins the h-pawn. And then his h-pawn's passed. And that pawn's gonna promote eventually. Move it on up. Move it on up. Man, that pawn got good quick. A5 is an excellent move. Probably Vishy missed that. So white wants to do this. And then if black moves his rook around and stop it, then I got this pawn. So he has to take it. And then white's rook gets free. Free, I told you. And then he resigned after rook a7 check. If the king moves, I play king g7 and you lose all your pawns. Like if you go here, for example, I go here, and then you check, I guess, and I go here, and then I got this guy, and so forth. And the engine says plus 12. So after check, he resigned. So Anand had a better endgame against Scherzer, but lost because Anand in 1987 wasn't a great endgame player. Pretty bad as a kid. That was his big weakness. That's why he lost his match in 1991 to Karpov, the candidates match. I'm sure you all remember that. Jadub. King g8 seems pretty simpler. That's true. King g8, and then if check, then here. And then move it on up to the king side. So Scherzer won a worse endgame against Anand. Fen Beingel, 10,000 bits.
Yay. Thank you,
Happy
Fen
holidays.
Beingel.
We got a 5,000 yesterday. That was spinning blue. This is spinning red.
Yay. Thank you so much, Fen Beingel.
Hooray. Now, I didn't tell Stuart about this because I didn't want him to get mad. But let's look at a game he played against Stuart.
Wait, he didn't want us to look at that one?
He didn't say. I didn't tell him he wouldn't mind.
Oh.
Okay, this was a very, very, very very sharp Sicilian. But Stuart always played what he had prepared. Okay, this is the line that I play with black. It's actually a move order that I play. And I used to play exactly the way Rachel's played this game. I've played many games at this position. I'll show you what I mean. I've had black here like 10 times in this position. One of the reasons I play this opening is because Rachel's played it a lot and I learned a lot about it.
Alex really likes to target that E7 square.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just because part of the opening?
Yeah, knight goes to d5 a lot. So white has the two bishops and black has the what else. So in this position, we can't take on h5 because queen takes c4. So we have to keep an eye on our bishop. The engine says this is equal. It doesn't like that move. You see how the queen's overworked? Yeah, it prefers just like simple knight g6 or trade rooks. It doesn't like this bishop takes g2. Hard to resist.
Why doesn't it like it?
Because after bishop here, your bishop's attacked, now that this isn't attacked, and your h-pawn's attacked. So you're like trading off these pawns, that gives white a big attack. So he played the engine move. Always play the engine move. So he sacked the exchange. He played bishop h3. Probably should have sacked the exchange. Okay, he should have sacked the exchange like every move, because that bishop's really good on d3. Then the knight goes to g6 unfettered. Right? Okay, so he played here. He played f5. The engine says this is equal after queen f2. But he played f5. Now if you take en passant, then you lose your queen. So he didn't do that. He played queen f3, attacking the bishop. Bishop g4. Queen takes b7. And again, he should play knight g6. He played queen f2. That's a mistake. b3, getting his king some scope. And finally, he sacked the exchange, which the engine doesn't like. But he's in time trouble because he's Stuart. So black's down the exchange. Black's knight is pinned, but this king is pretty open. So he's hoping to get some counterplay against the king. He wants to play bishop c5. I like the way the queen took everything moving around. Okay, and this is a very funny ending. So he's threatening the knight, and it can't be defended. So he checks. King c3. b2. Takes with check. Now white's up a rook. And probably what he was thinking was if king takes pawn, queen d2 check, and there's a million checks, right? And the engine says white's like plus 2.5 there. It doesn't say white's plus 1,000, so maybe there's a million checks. Mm-hmm. And here, which I assume he was in time trouble, he played the best move. This would be really good puzzle. Like this would be like 3,500 puzzle. This position.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I could get it. I know the answer, so I can.
So wait, what was the last move? Queen G5 what was the last move?
He played B2. Then queen takes check, king here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this would be 3,500 puzzle. He played one move and black resigned. That's the best move. This was in the U.S. Championship in 1992. So you want to take the pawn,
yeah,
but you don't want queen d2 check to happen. So before he took the pawn, he made another move, although it has to be a big threatening move because b1 queen. So this better be a big move.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know.
Bishop e3. So you attack the queen.
Yeah.
The queen can't take the bishop because mate. So if the queen stays on g7 to stop mate, then when I take this pawn, black doesn't have any checks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like if queen g6, king takes b2, there's nothing. You got nothing. Yeah, that's by far the best move. Yeah, making a knight doesn't really help. What's funny is after making a knight, like I would play king b2, but the engine plays king d4. So the bishop's defended.
Oh, yeah.
And then after f4 it takes. And then it plays rook a8 and says, haha, I'm mating you and I want material. But yeah, that's silly. So bishop e3, he resigned. Now, this is move 38. So if I was a betting man, I would say Stuart lost on time. I don't think Stuart with less than a minute on his clock is resigning here. I don't believe it. I'm going to ask him. I'm going to say he lost on time. When Alex beat you in 1992 U.S. Champs, did you lose on time or resign after... I'm sure you lost on time.
Yeah, those were all very interesting games.
There's more.
I'm going to go start the rice.
Then come down?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I shall return.
Iram says she has a cold.
Aw.
So she's been sleeping a lot. Was she me? So how's everybody doing? Good? I posted something on Twitter, and then people were like, you can't do that. And they were dancing like this for some reason. And so I blocked everybody who was negative towards my tweet. Because I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You know, like when like Ricky Gervais says, I'm doing a comedy tour, and then you don't say like, well, I see you're going to be in Toronto on September 4th, but I live in Huntsville, Alabama, so could you come here instead? Now, when I say you shouldn't do that, people do that. I've seen that. So when I post stuff on Twitter about what I'm doing, I'm not asking for your opinion. Okay? First of all, you're not a vegan, so I don't care what you say about anything. Nothing you say matters to me. You're not a vegan. Okay? Also, you're religious, so now it matters even less. And third of all, there's a small chance you're conservative. Then it's less of a chance. So anything you say doesn't matter to me. And then when you say, oh, you shouldn't lose weight and you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do this, and you move your arms like this for some reason, who taught you to move your arms like this? You should move your arms like this. It's some exercise. Anyway, my 3 New Year's resolutions are go to the gym every day. The gym's pretty close. La Fitness. It's French. Mwah. And then stream every day, which is good for you guys, and eat 1,200 calories a day. And people hated the 1,200 calories. You can't eat 1,200 calories because I said so. You could eat 800 calories and live. 700, 600. You could not eat and live for months. Well, weeks. Well, days. Well, a day. Anyway, I don't care what your opinion is on my New Year's resolutions. You can just say those suck or those are great. And they're great. Although if you said they suck, that would be fine. If you get under 200 pounds, I will donate $500. Damn. Right now I'm about 258, approximately. Karen's under 200 pounds. Do we get $500 anyway? Black can't do perpetual checks. Not after Bishop here, because if you take, then it's mate. And then if you move your queen here to defend this, then you don't have any checks. You got nothing. You're all talking a badge. But I think he lost on time. I think after Bishop E3 his flag fell because Stewart's always in time trouble. And if you could play like B1 queen or B1 knight check, queen takes queen G6, F4, I don't think you'd resign. There's not enough time to resign. I would need like 5 minutes to resign here. I wouldn't resign in like 10 seconds. If I thought for 5 minutes, I might resign. Maybe. But it's moved 38, so that means that Stewart lost on time. Anyway, I asked him, so hopefully he'll answer. See, again, what you guys write in the chat is meaningless to me. Meaningless. Like, it means less than if you didn't write it. Even the $500 guy, when I get my weight down to 199, he won't be on my stream anymore. Also, I'll forget who said it, and I don't care. So. Yeah, but I'm starting really high, dime bag. Also, you should be talking in stone and kilograms. What do you do? 4 pounds a week. What? Yeah, Hosta Mahogi's like, I won't be here. Fem Finegold, I'm even against that because you said leave Ben alone. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. You're in the Bath. No. Now, I'm going to pretend that you said you're in Bath, the city, because I'll believe that because you're British. So you're in Bath. That's nice. Yeah. Double up on the bubble up. As long as you're in Bath. My brother went to Bath for the British Championship like in 1990 or something. Something around there. I've had a bath in Bath before, in the baths. I believe that. Good Chaucer. I remember the Homer gain weight. That's where chocolate was 50% off. Those crayons are non-toxic. That's a good thing. You know a guy who went to Bath? Wow. I am the famousest. Anyway, let me save you guys some trouble with the rest of your life. Nobody cares about anything you say about anything ever. So there's no reason to give your opinion on anything. Your opinions are all nonsense. You're wasting time. You should figure out what you have to do with your own life and then not do it. I mean, wait. What? Ooh, Perrier. That's better. I thought it was in Maine. The fingers you used to dial are too fat. Please mash the keypad to order a dialing wand now. That was a good line. I like that. Mash the keypad to order a dialing wand. That was a good one. Classic. Yay, Dimebag gave 10 subs. I don't see you guys doing that. Yeah, don't ban that. That's a good Simpsons quote. Your opinions are never asked for. You just think they are. Who'd ask you for your opinion on something? Terrible. It's Karen. What'd you do?
I started the rice.
Hooray. All right, and there's one more game to look at.
Okay.
It's the game Finegold Scherzer. Hooray. This was played in 1993.
Great.
29 years ago in Chicago. Dimebag gave 10 subs while he was in the bath.
Yay. Thank you, Dimebag.
I've beaten Scherzer, lost to Scherzer, and drawn Scherzer. So I got everything in. I did it all. Showing a loss for you is good tribute. Yeah, I'm going to show a loss for me. Okay. So it was a King's Indian. He liked to play the King's Indian with black. I was a connoisseur of the bayonet. All right, for several $1 trillion, which move can white play here, which denotes the bayonet attack?
Oh, I'm not going to know. The bayonet. Yeah, I'm not going to know.
You can guess a move.
Okay, I'll guess.
Yeah, it's called the bayonet attack.
Bishop G5.
Ooh, that's good. That's a move.
Do you want me to guess move?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a move.
Okay.
I played B4. That's the bayonet.
Yeah.
Now here, Scherzer played a move nobody ever plays. Okay, everybody plays either A5 or knight H5. And recently, they've been toying with knight E8 and knight D7, but they're just kidding. Like, I think All-Toucher would play knight E8 here. Okay, he played C5. Yeah, the engine says, boo, boo, you suck. It actually does say that. Yeah. A Kramnik fave. But he stole it from me. A Bath coup is a nice simple play that saves the day often. Very good, Dankel, for the bridge reference. So there's a person who was famous in chess and bridge, and his name was Deschapelle. Not Dave Chappelle. Deschapelle, it's like French, Dave Chappelle. And not Dave Chappelle, though. Okay, Anyway, let me explain to you what the Deschapelle coup is in bridge. Okay, you see a long-running suit on the board, and you're trying to get rid of the entry, so you bang out your king, even though you lose this to the ace. You're just trying to get rid of the entry for later.
I don't know how to play bridge.
Right, but I'm just saying that's what it is you
Okay.
sacrifice a trick
But
so
that
that
doesn't mean
later
anything to me.
they don't get more tricks. It's a sacrifice.
All right.
It's not Dave Chappelle, Deschapelle.
You can call it a sacrifice, but that other stuff I'm not going to get. Bridge seems boring.
Good chess player, too.
It's a gambit, okay. That I can understand.
I mean, I haven't heard about the Bath coup outside of bridge in a long time. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the game. Now, you have to remember, this was played in 1993 when I was good. So if you're like, why are you playing well? I was good in 93. So it's actually understandable. So I apologize for playing good. Okay, like all my moves are engine moves the whole game because it was 93. Engines didn't even exist yet. Well, they did a little bit. Okay, bishop E3, engine move. B6. Knight takes E5. Engine doesn't like that. It says white's better, but it wants me to play A4, A5. But it still says I'm better after this, but it throws away some of my advantage. Okay, he played knight takes E4 to confuse Karen. See all the discovered double attacks? Okay, I took. He took. Bishop G5. It doesn't like that. It says black's better now. No wonder I was no good then. He played F6. It wants him to play F6. I played bishop h6. It wants him to play rook e8. Now this is funny. Like if I was playing this game now, I would never think of this move. A move that I played. I played a move I would never think of. Wow, what was wrong with me then? I played g4. What am I, Matt Larson? The engine says that's terrible. Yay, Finegold. No, he didn't win. I won this game. G4. So the engine says all my moves are terrible. Damn, I was just boasting how great I was. Okay, he played knight d5. And here I played the best move. So the idea is when he takes my rook, then my knight's going to be hanging. So that's why he got his knight out of the way.
Oh, okay.
So I played the best move, bishop f3. Now the referee stopped the game because it was too exciting. Okay, now it says knight b4 is best. He made a mild mistake.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Right.
I defended my knight.
Right. Oh, okay. But he's still going to lose the rook.
If he takes the rook, I said if. Now he's losing because his knight's attacked. If he moves his knight, he loses f6. It's all a rich tapestry.
All right, I see.
And then I got this going on.
Okay, and then attacking the rook there.
So he should play knight b4, it says. The engine says. He played knight c7. He's still better. I played the only move. Man, it must have been cheating back then. It wasn't even possible to cheat. g5. That's the best move. Okay, now he blundered. He should play rook b8 or fg, and he's better. After rook b8, he's 0.7 better. After this, he's 0.2 better. He played bishop b7, losing. So I took, he took, I took, and now he made a big mistake. He has to play bishop takes, queen takes, and he's much worse. But he took my queen, which is the losing move. And I played by far the best move. Hooray for Ben. I'll give you 2 guesses. Because there's 3 ways to take the queen. And I played the only one that's good.
I guess with the bishop?
Too obvious.
Yeah, I know. Well, go ahead.
I took with the F rook instead of the A rook. The A rook's no good, as we will see why later. He took my bishop. Oh, he played bishop c8. If he takes my bishop, which he didn't do, I go here. Now I'm threatening f7 check, and I'm threatening the knight.
Why was the other rook?
Let's have a look. If I take with the other rook, and he takes this, and I go here, now he has rook e4. And my rook's on f1, so he's threatening rook g4 mate. That saves him from f7 check.
Oh,
but with the other rook, I can just ignore that and play and take everything.
Right, I see.
Yeah, which I saw when I was playing the game. I don't see anything now. So he played bishop c8, stopping rook d7. I played bishop f4, which is the engine move. See, I could take the exchange, but I want to attack his knight. And then if his knight moves, I can take it for free. So he played knight e6. And I go bishop g3, and his rook's trapped. I mean, I was good back then. Now it says I'm +6. He played bishop a6. I played rook d7, threatening f7 check. f7 check. Bishop e5 check. Rook e7. Good technique, too. Bishop takes c4, defending his knight. Take the rook on a8. Rook e8. And then rook d1. And he resigned. Man, I played really well that game after I played terrible. I didn't realize how terrible I played between moves 14 and 18. Then I played well. Yeah, that was a really sharp, complicated game. I played G4. What a lunatic. We were young and stupid. We didn't know.
There's a little bit of protest in the chat that you're supposed to show games where he wins.
No, in the junior, he beat me to Rui Lopez, and I got squeezed. Also, I didn't see that game online. Ron Guidry, you're banned. Have you heard of Ron Guidry? Famous pitcher. Also played chess.
Yeah.
I think he was on the cover of Chess Life.
I think I've heard the name.
He banned him. He removed the ban. Yeah, I think Guidry was a chess player. I'm pretty sure he was on the cover of Chess Life before you guys were born. They had like 3 athletes on the cover. He was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yay, I won.
Well, those were all very interesting games.
Not only did I win, but you know what else?
What?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
So I got him twice. Yeah, those were like my Walter Brown jokes after he died.
You were alive and you hadn't gone to jail for anything yet.
He didn't go to jail either, but not guilty. Alex, not guilty.
Didn't he go to jail when he got arrested initially?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he got out on bail.
That's what he went to jail.
That's harsh. The truth hurts. Hey, if he wants to defend himself, he would be alive now. Now, let's see if he didn't answer my text about whether he lost on time. Damn.
He did
Terrible.
not. Stonefish, that is true.
Yeah, I used to refer to him as Alex, not guilty Scherzer. Carton, Caden.
You got it.
Tough.
3 times the charm.
That reminds me, there's an episode of The Odd Couple, a show you've never watched. Here's what happens. There's a guy who always wins bets against the Oscar Madison guy. What's his name? Jack Klugman.
Oh, okay.
Whenever they bet, the other guy wins. Okay, so he's talking to Tony Randall, and Tony Randall says, "Well, make a bet where he wins. He doesn't feel so bad all the time. Like, just make a bet where he has to win." He's okay. So they don't tell Oscar that. They don't want him to know that they're on it. So he says, "Okay, Oscar, I'll bet you can't type your name on the typewriter in 10 seconds." And he types for a living. That's what he does. He says, "Okay." So they bet like $10. And he's done. It says, "Oscar Matasoy." He says, "Damn." And he's like, "Okay, we'll do it again, double or nothing." And then it was like Oscar Matasocks. It was like, something, yeah.
That's
And so forth. Ron Guidry won the Cy Young. No, I lost that game. That was an important game. I got squeezed and squeezed. Terrible.
Yeah.
Etc. Anyway, Alex was an unusual guy. He lived an unusual life. He learned Hungarian as a kid, moved to Hungary, went to medical school in Hungary. He finished up medical school somewhere else, like where they would let him practice in the U.S. He practiced in Florida. And I don't know what the cause of death was. Why is Old Owl subscribed?
He owes me money,
No.
says Don B. McGee.
Who, Felix Unger?
Well, darn. You're probably not going to get it.
Remember, never loan money to anybody except me. Oh, snap. Don B. McGee. Yeah, the truth hurts.
Well, what should we do? We're at a crossroads here.
What should we do?
Because I'm chilly and I've got to get dinner finalized. So we could do something else. But
Okay, we'll discuss who you think's going to win tonight. The Hawks or the Nets?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be good if the Hawks won.
The Hawks are playing at home, but some of their players may or may not play because they're injured. So I'd probably lose anyway. The Mets? What? Not the Mets, the Nets. Thanks, Ethereal.
Yeah, thank you, Ethereal.
Yay, get official Ben merch.
We mourn his passing with caveats.
That's right.
Good games.
Anyway, yeah, he's a pretty good player, pretty aggressive.
Hey, DK79.
Oh, one story I didn't tell you guys. So I might have told you before on this stream, but I told Stuart like a couple of days ago. He never heard it. I was in Biel in Switzerland, and Alex was there, and we were sitting and talking, and they had a PCA meeting, which was a meeting of the grandmasters. To it was a rival company to like FIDE. Anyway, Alex got in the meeting because Alex was a grandmaster, but I was an IM, so I wasn't allowed in. So Alex came out, and we started talking about the meeting. And he's like, this is what happened. And he said, at some point, Elvest, who was drunk, went on stage, took the microphone away from the head of the PCA, some suit, and went, "Rawr," and he was drunk. And he went, "Rawr, fucking Kasparov, rawr." And then they got the mic away from him, and they said, yes, thank you. Okay, Alex is telling me the story. As he's telling me the story, Elvest falls on us drunk. He doesn't know what we're saying. It's just he's still drunk, and he fell on Alex, and Alex pushed him, and he almost pushed him down the stairs. It was close, really close to his stairway, but he missed it. That would have been funny if he pushed him down the stairs and killed him. But yeah, I never was talking about somebody in a story, and that person drunkenly fell on us as we were talking about how drunk he was. Occasionally, Elvest was drunk, like when he was awake. Not Elvis, Elvest. Good old Jan Elvest. If only Yasser was there. Wait, Yasser was there. That's where I played basketball with Maurice Ashley and Eugene Martinovsky. The only time in Martinovsky's life he played basketball. R.I.P. What is PCA? Good question. Go to the internets and find out. And also, I wanted to tell you, over the last few days, usually at night, I'll do a few puzzles, and I got my puzzle rating to 3,600, which may be my peak on this account.
Yay.
Maybe. I still get a lot of them wrong, but I get some of them right. I just do it on my phone. I can't do it in real life. Just on my phone.
Yay.
So I'm higher than most of you guys.
Yeah.
Professional Chess Players Association is correct. All grandmasters were members if they paid a fee or something. I don't know. There's only one way to get good at chess. Donate to the stream. Support your local stream. 4213. No.
The funny thing, on a different topic, but when we were talking last night about Timur Gurayev, I recalled that he had told me he might start streaming. And so I looked on, and I forgot that he asked me to follow him on Twitch. So I did. So that's him right there. Mm-hmm. But he actually did stream like 4 days ago.
Yeah, he's Blindfold King.
Yeah.
I was before you were here. Yeah. I was reading off the list of the people who won the Samford, because Alex won the Samford, then I did, then Komsky did. And one person on the list was Gurayev.
Oh.
He won the Samford Fellowship.
Okay, cool.
Who would have thunk it?
Does Timur still have a mohawk?
Yeah, how's his hairstyle?
No. It seemed normal, but he's still got the big beard. I don't know. I can't think of the hairstyle. It wasn't a mohawk, though.
Yoga stream when?
Yoga stream. I've never done yoga in my whole life, but it would probably be good for me to do it. I've always preferred other kinds of exercises. And I would probably only be able to do a kind of yoga that does not involve any sitting there and being quiet and meditating in any way. I'm not going to do that at all. But maybe...
She'll sit there and be quiet, but she won't meditate.
Maybe Pilates. I'm not going to sit there and do nothing. But the stretching part, I'm all over. I know there's a lot of different kinds of yoga. I like to walk. I used to run when I was younger. I'm not a fan of swimming. I like to lift weights and walk, is what I've been doing. But I would try yoga. I'll try it out. You know, bicycles, my butt always hurts when I sit on the seat. So maybe you develop where it doesn't hurt. I guess it doesn't hurt after a while. So I'm not a huge bicycle fan. I rode a lot when I was a kid, just recreationally, but not for exercise, to get around. Recumbent bikes. Oh, recumbent road bikes. Huh. Maybe.
It's too hilly here.
It is too hilly, but we would have to drive down the hill and then start from the river club where it's flat. It's real flat by the river, but we're up the hill from the river. Hills aren't good for those kind of bikes. Yeah, I could see that. We get a lot of just regular bikes in our neighborhood because people love to train in our neighborhood. You'll see groups of them because it's real hilly. And I'll leave that to those guys. Hills below.
Yeah, Finegold makes a lot of sense.
What do you say?
You see what Finegold said? It's in the middle.
Oh. I like the poker part. And the beer, I guess. I'm not a big pizza person. I just ordered Finegold. I got 3, I talked about it last night on the stream, 3 poker books. One is by Dara Kearney called GTO Poker Simplified. I started that today on the treadmill. It's great so far. And then see if I can't get a little bit better with poker.
Hey, Mateus.
Hey, Matthias. Yeah, I will, Finegold. Maurice Ashley Good. I associate him with Susan Polgar and Mike Valvo.
God, how old are you, Mike Valvo? God damn. Man, now I know Dankel's at least 70 because he's heard of Mike Valvo.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think I'm going to need to be done streaming for a variety of reasons. So
Yeah, we're going to end the stream.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you were continuing.
Yeah, I wonder who I should raid.
Because I got to go cook and I've got to practice for karaoke. I haven't been to karaoke in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited to be going to karaoke tonight. So I'm going to get some new songs lined up. With regards to rating.
Yeah, I'll raid Eric.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Michael said something to me.
Olivia Newton-John trending. Yeah, karaoke. I don't know if I'd sing her. Thank you, Racially Fluid, for saying I look lovely. Hey, we're going to be cooking soon on the stream, but I'm not sure when. We're waiting on the food to get here.
Mm-hmm.
Hello